coast-to-coast route crosses the middle of England between Whitehaven in the west and Sunderland in the east. Typically, people take 2 or 3 days to ride the route, but we wanted to attempt it in one long day. As per tradition, we dipped our rear wheel in the sea and set off from Whitehaven at 6:26 in the morning, with slightly wetter than forecast conditions. Despite the initial 20 kilometres being completely uphill, we made good and steady progress towards the first major climb of the day, Whinlatter. The climb was long, but we were immediately rewarded with a fun descent into Keswick. We navigated the northern town roads before tackling the seemingly unexpectedly significant climb to Castlerigg and the stone circle where we stopped briefly to refill bottles and snacks. The next 40 kilometres was a bit of an obstacle course, with gates everywhere and us having to take a bit of a detour to avoid a really busy road. We travelled out of Castlerigg to Llangwathby, where we stopped for lunch. A small mobile cafe, as well as our support crew, were waiting for us, where we enjoyed warm drinks and a solid lunch that would fuel us up for the next climb, Hartside.
Cheers, guys.
We were properly out of the Lake District now and heading into the Pennines. Hartside was a big psychological goal, being the largest climb on the route, which took us over the halfway mark, but also the largest climb that I'd ever ridden on my bike.
Hartside is the largest climb of the route and took us over the halfway mark, so it was a huge psychological goal. The climb itself was wonderful. I'd been told to look to the right as I came into the steep section, and the view was just stunning.
Hartside was the largest climb I'd ever ridden on my bike. For me, the climb was actually pretty good in the end, but of course, at the time, it didn't feel like it. On reaching the top, we jumped in the van, and again ate to keep our energy levels high for the next 4 climbs that would see us cross the North Pennines. This was the moment where I knew I'd make it. Less than 30 seconds after a compulsory summit photo and beginning the second half of the route, the heavens opened and we got absolutely drenched. Unsure where we were next meeting our crew, we took the descents carefully and tried to stay warm. The climbs were steep, made even more difficult by the slippery roads and cold muscles. Fortunately though, we met up with Andy at Nenthead, the second climb since Hartside, and changed into some slightly drier clothes. The next 20 kilometres took us over Colclough and Allen Heads, from where we descended to Eastgate for dinner. The worst of it finally seemed behind us.
Leaving after dinner, we knew we only had one major climb left, just north of Stanhope. We climbed, and as the sun began to lower in the sky, it brought out stunning colours in the heather that lined the roads. With a slight tailwind, a steady descent, and the glorious surrounding landscape, we ate up the next 15 kilometres, until a wrong turn resulted in a sudden change of mood. Despite an intermittent shared location, Andy was fortunately able to track us down and help put us back on course. Leaving us on the Consett and Sunderland railway path, a cycle route which would lead us 32 kilometres to Sunderland, he drove the van to the seafront and rode the route backwards to meet us.
At 10:33 p.m, we dipped our front wheels in the sea, the other side of the country from where we had started that morning. Shattered, cold and hungry, but so happy that we'd completed the challenge, We got a photo, bundled ourselves in the bikes, back into the van, ready to go home. At 222 kilometres long, it's the biggest ride that either of us have completed. Taking just over 16 hours in total, of which 12 hours we were moving, it was an epic day out, leaving us wondering what we'd be doing next.